organic, unpredictable, unknown, lovely, beautiful, a sense of fulfillment. This is part of the pleasures of life and not the chores of life.
Happy Labor Day, and thanks for tuning in to another edition of Daily Iowan TV, your television news, sports, and weather source for the Daily Iowan. Coming to you from the Daily Iowan newsroom, I'm Josh Blander, here to give you a quick update about what's been going on in Iowa City. Iowa City could soon have a representative to work on civic issues at both the state and national capitals. On Tuesday, the City Council will consider hiring a lobbyist per the recommendation of City Manager Tom Marcus. Marcus said the lobbyist could aid the city with issues like proposed railroad services and acquiring grants, but the position would cost the city between $25,000 and $30,000 annually. Cities like Coralville, Cedar Rapids, and Clinton already have similar positions in place. This Saturday's tailgate saw lots of rain, and although it didn't seem to put a damper on school spirit, the number of alcohol-related citations certainly cooled off. The Iowa City Police Department only issued 2 Paula citations, compared with the 14 that were given out during the first game last year. The number of open container violations also dropped off significantly, with just 39 tickets issued compared to 119 a year ago. In fact, the only violation that saw an increase was public intoxication, which only went up from 7 to 8. For more on this story and to check out a full breakdown of this week's citations, make sure to check out Tuesday's pages of the Daily Iowan. This past year saw tremendous growth in the number of Hispanic students attending colleges and universities. Across the nation, the number of young Hispanic students rose 24% in just the last year. Although official numbers will not be released until later this week, this is in keeping with the UI, which expects to see about a 14% growth in Hispanic students overall. The increase makes Hispanics the largest minority group on the nation's colleges' campuses, with about 1.8 million students enrolled. Every year, freshmen are faced with the problem of overcrowding in the dorms. Many students are put in temporary housing, which can be a less exciting version of the first week of your college life. Daily Iowan TV's Christina Targos takes a look at what temporary housing life could look like.
Stanley Lounge 6 is what the housing letter of UI freshman Autumn read when she opened her University of Iowa housing assignment. For many reasons, like late application and just the fact of the large amount of incoming freshmen, many students are placed in temporary housing. Instead of getting an assigned room, these students are assigned a floor lounge of a dormitory to live in, with up to 7 other students. At first, for students, it's a scary idea, but it usually turns out to be just like having a regular room.
I was really nervous moving in. I was like, oh, what if my roommates don't like me? What if we don't get along? What if some other people in the room don't get along and I have to be in the middle of their drama, that sort of thing.
Even though it is not the most comfortable place to live, with very little storage space and privacy, it is actually a very safe place to live in a dormitory. It is the only room that automatically locks every time a person enters and exits. Another nice thing about temporary housing is students are given a great price discount, only having to pay $10 per day plus the cost of their selected meal plan. And once a student is moved into permanent space, the charges will be prorated according to the number of days left in the semester. While temporary housing can seem daunting at first, the majority of students placed in it find it to be a wonderful experience. Christina Targos, Daily Iowan TV.
As of a week ago, 120 students were placed on temporary housing. A pregnant Iowa City woman was assaulted and threatened with a baseball bat and knives late last week. 52-year-old Tommy Alexander was arrested last Thursday after an argument turned violent. Though the cause of the argument is unclear, the victim told police that Alexander threatened to cut her unborn child from her stomach. Alexander admitted using the bat and knives, but said he was only trying to defend himself against the woman's adult daughter, who jumped on him and bit him under the eye. Alexander is charged with domestic abuse assault. UI students are taking extra measures to conserve the environment this year. This year, students working on the university's student garden behind Burge Hall will begin a new seed-saving program to study the life cycle of certain plants. The students are working independently on the project, and the crops raised will be sold to the IMU River Room and catering services. The students will also hold workshops at the new Iowa City Pioneer Co-op and educate Iowa City residents on how they can improve their own gardens at home. And now for all things Hawkeye sports, let's send it over to Daily Iowan TV sports desk and Ian Martin. Ian?
Thanks, Josh. And football is officially back in season as the Black and Gold kicked off the 2011 season in less than ideal weather conditions. Daily Iowan TV sports director Jake Abrams was soaking up the victory at Kinnick on Saturday.
The Black and Gold returned to Kinnick Stadium with a splash on Saturday morning. The weather didn't stop fans from showing up to this one. Early first quarter, Marcus Coker, he's not used to playing in the rain. He's going to lose the handle on this ball. Tennessee Tech would recover, but that's about as bright as their cloudy day got. As Trey Lamb loses the handle on the ball, Iowa defense all over him early. James Vandenberg making his first start of the season. He's the first Iowa native to start a game as a Hawkeye since 2001. He'll connect with Marvin McNutt, who will get past the Golden Eagle defense. He'll take it 88 yards for the TD. Iowa goes up 17-0. Vandenberg and McNutt would also connect for a 19-yard touchdown later in the game. Then Trey Lamb, under pressure, forces one right into the hands of sophomore linebacker James Morris. He grabs his first interception and runs it 52 yards. That would set up an Iowa field goal. Morris finished the game leading the Hawks with 10 tackles. Morris fell short of the end zone after his pick, but Sean Prater won't. He'll bring his first interception of the season back for an 89-yard return for a touchdown. That return is the 5th longest interception return for a touchdown in Iowa history. Prater now has 7 interceptions in his career. Third quarter, the rain and lightning struck over Kinnick. This would cause an 87-minute suspension in the game. It's the first time in history that Kinnick Stadium has ever been evacuated. An hour and a half later, not too many fans returned to their wet seats, but nonetheless, the Hawks held onto their lead to get their first victory of the season. Well, the Hawks won it 34-7. They're now 1-0 in 2011 and 8-5 in games when it's raining. This is Jake Abrams. Ian, back to you in the studio.
And the Hawkeyes will play a hopefully delay-free game against 1-0 Iowa State in Ames this coming weekend. Iowa field hockey was home this weekend as well, and at Grant Field, the Hawkeyes started their weekend beating Kent State 7-3 on Friday night before taking on the University of Massachusetts on Sunday. Ariane Costable has the highlights.
Members of the 1986 NCAA championship team, along with Mary Cobalt, member of the 23rd Hall of Fame class here at Iowa, were present to watch the Hawkeyes grab their 3rd win of the season and see their tradition of winning and excellence being carried on. With about 15 minutes left to go in the first half, the score was still 0-0. The Hawkeyes lined up for a corner penalty where sophomore Nikki Schultes scored off of a rebound to give Iowa an early 1-0 lead. This was Nikki's first goal of the 2011 season. Despite goal attempts, the University of Massachusetts couldn't seem to score. At the half, the score was 2-0 with the Hawkeyes' second goal made by junior Gina Lezak. Iowa scored their last goal after a pass from Aubrey Coleman to sophomore Kim Scraper for her team-leading 6th goal of the season. The Hawkeyes celebrated their 3-0 shutout.
And after 2 wins this weekend, the team has a 3-1 record going into their games next weekend against Rhode Island schools Providence and Brown. Now, the Iowa soccer team was away and set a personal record this weekend in traveling to the nation's capital. Iowa is 5-0 for the first time in program history after defeats of George Washington University and American University. The team won 4-1 and 3-1 respectively. Junior Dana Dalrymple had 2 goals, both of them the first scores in the games, to be the leading scorer on the weekend. Hawkeye volleyball also had a solid weekend away, 2-1 at the Iowa State Challenge. The Hawkeyes defeated both Southern Miss and Arizona State in 4 sets before losing to the 19th ranked Cyclones on Saturday afternoon. Volleyball is now 3-3 and will return home for 3 matches this coming weekend. That's all for sports. Back to you in the newsroom, Josh.
Thanks, Ian. And only with Daily Iowan TV can you get a sneak peek at Tuesday's pages of the Daily Iowan. Read about the record number of women who came out to rush this year, plus read a Q&A with former Hawkeye All-American wide receiver Tim Dwight. And now a quick look at your weather forecast. Tomorrow should be a nice one with a high of 72 degrees and sunny skies expected. Might need a sweater in the evening, though, as the overnight low will be a cool 47 degrees. Looking ahead to the rest of the week, temps will remain in the mid-70s for most of the week, and we should have a lot of sun with just a slight chance of rain coming on Friday and Saturday. Temps could climb back up again, though, with a high of 81 expected on Monday. That's your latest update from Daily Iowan TV. Be sure to check us out at the same time tomorrow or anytime online at dailyiowan.com. For Daily Iowan TV, I'm Josh Bullender. Thank you, and have a great day.